Windows 10 extended security updates versus Windows 11 migration. CIOs face tough choices. Microsoft's latest Windows 10 extended security updates announcement reveals a telling double standard. While home users get multiple free pathways to maintain security beyond the October 2025 deadline, enterprises face the same expensive pay or migrate ultimatum. Sanchit, Gogia, chief analyst at Greyhound Research, warned that enterprises viewing ESU as a long-term solution are accumulating strategic debt. He noted that relying on ESU instead of refreshing devices may offer short-term budget relief, but defers readiness for AI-era workloads. Gogia emphasized that ESU creates compliance risks beyond basic security. Microsoft's ESU program may keep vulnerabilities patched, but it doesn't close the compliance gap, he said. Without support for evolving identity frameworks, telemetry, or zero-trust baselines, Windows 10, even patched, is an aging platform. For regulated industries, the absence of advanced encryption support or newer multi-factor authentication integrations may result in failed audits. Security updates alone do not equal a secure posture, especially in regulated sectors, Gogia noted. Microsoft is not just offering patches, it's offering them in exchange for cloud footprint expansion, Gogia explained. The cloud backup requirement raises concerns for organizations managing complex data residency and encryption frameworks. It's security with strings and a subtle shift in monetization logic, Gogia said, as quoted in computerworld.com in an article authored by Gyana Swain published on June 25, 2025. Beyond the media quote, our view in full. Press for time? You can focus solely on the Greyhound flashpoints that follow. Each one distills the full analysis into a sharp, executive-ready takeaway, combining our official standpoint, validated through pulse data from ongoing CXO trackers, and grounded in Fieldnotes from real-world advisory engagements. Microsoft's free ESU offer confirms enterprise reluctance toward Windows 11 shift. Greyhound Flashpoint. Microsoft's extension of free Windows 10 extended security updates into 2026, on the condition of using Microsoft Cloud Backup, offers more than security continuity. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 49% of Fortune 500 CIOs cite critical application compatibility and hardware qualification issues as primary barriers. This isn't a technical detour, it's a strategic recalibration. Microsoft is using cloud entitlements, not just OS roadmaps, to maintain relevance across a hesitant enterprise base. It's security with strings and a subtle shift in monetization logic. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, Microsoft's free ESU policy reflects a dual strategy: address migration fatigue while deepening Azure and Microsoft 365 entrenchment. The condition, enabling cloud backup via Microsoft services, transforms what appears to be a lifeline into a funnel. It signals that Microsoft sees more value in embedding customers into its cloud than in accelerating pure OS adoption. For large enterprises, this bundling of platform support with cloud participation raises governance flags. The policy aligns with a wider trend where core infrastructure support is increasingly tied to cloud commitment, setting a precedent that warrants close enterprise scrutiny. Greyhound Pulse. Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025 indicates that 59% of technology leaders across manufacturing, BFSI, and logistics have postponed endpoint transitions due to ongoing fiscal constraints and integration backlogs. Among those, 46% are exploring hybrid strategies that balance legacy system uptime with cloud adoption, without committing to single vendor pathways. This tension is now shaping how enterprises interpret support as a bundled service rather than a baseline right. Greyhound Fieldnote. Per a recent Greyhound Fieldnote from a multi-country infrastructure operator, enterprise IT leadership faced a decision between enrolling thousands of endpoints in a cloud-tethered backup service to retain security updates, or pursuing an alternate patching route that preserved data residency controls. While the cloud-aligned offer was initially attractive, further review revealed contractual gray zones around metadata exposure and failover regions. The firm chose a segmented strategy: cloud engagement for user productivity workloads, local control for core systems. This highlights a growing enterprise reflex, decoupling platform incentives from architectural mandates. ESU versus Windows 11 hardware refresh. Enterprises walk a cost-risk tightrope. Greyhound Flashpoint. For many enterprise CFOs, Microsoft's extended security updates are not a cost-free concession. They're a cost-delayed commitment. At current pricing, 3 years of paid ESUs could approach $427 per device. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 38% of global CIOs have paused hardware refreshes due to macroeconomic constraints. But the trade-off between ESU costs and CapEx for Windows 11-ready systems isn't just financial, it's strategic. ESU defers transformation and locks enterprises into hardware estates, increasingly ill-suited for AI-era workloads. This isn't just about deferring costs, it's about deferring readiness. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, relying on ESU instead of refreshing devices may offer short-term budget relief, but accumulate strategic debt. Enterprises must evaluate not just the cost of ESU fees, but the productivity, energy efficiency, and security features they're foregoing by delaying hardware upgrades. Microsoft's Windows 11 vision is deeply intertwined with AI-ready silicon, enhanced device telemetry, and tighter OS cloud integration. By deferring the refresh, CIOs may inadvertently exclude themselves from this ecosystem. The smart play is to treat ESU as a budgetary pause, not a platform strategy. Greyhound Pulse. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 45% of respondents across financial services and consumer goods sectors are implementing tiered refresh models, delaying upgrades on administrative endpoints while accelerating device modernization in data-heavy or customer-facing functions. This bifurcation reflects the reality of uneven ROI across endpoint estates. Enterprises are also experimenting with equipment buyback schemes, green procurement frameworks, and energy-linked financing to rebalance deferred CapEx into long-term OpEx stability. Greyhound Fieldnote. Per a recent Greyhound Fieldnote from a regional banking consortium, a phased device refresh was deferred for 18 months in favor of subscribing to extended patching. Initially framed as a budgetary reprieve, this approach later hindered deployment of advanced identity verification modules that required next-gen firmware. The IT leadership was forced into a reactive procurement sprint, incurring logistics delays and vendor lock-in at premium pricing. The scenario reflects a cautionary principle. Tactical cost management without architectural foresight often leads to strategic overpayment. ESU is not a long-term security strategy. Compliance gaps loom for holdouts. Greyhound Flashpoint. Microsoft's ESU program may keep vulnerabilities patched, but it doesn't close the compliance gap. Per Greyhound Sector Pulse 2025, 53% of enterprise CISOs view ESU as a tactical measure, not a compliant security posture. Without support for evolving identity frameworks, telemetry, or zero-trust baselines, Windows 10, even patched, is an aging platform. Regulators and insurers increasingly treat supported OS as more than a CV list, requiring modern stack capabilities. Relying on ESU into late 2026 and beyond is not just a technical risk, it's a governance liability. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, enterprises treating ESU as a long-term strategy are taking on more risk than many realize. Security updates alone do not equal a secure posture, especially in regulated sectors. Microsoft has made it clear ESU won't include new features or advanced response tooling. For industries that depend on full-stack compliance, BFSI, government, healthcare, the absence of advanced encryption support, newer MFA integrations, or patch telemetry may result in failed audits. ESU is not inherently flawed, but it is inherently incomplete. Greyhound Pulse. Greyhound Sector Pulse 2025 finds that 39% of CISOs in telecom and utilities report rising concerns about threat detection efficacy on legacy endpoints, even when patched. Many are adopting layered compensatory controls, including external EDR, containerization overlays, or isolated network segmentation to maintain compliance. But these measures increase both cost and complexity. Insurers and audit firms are beginning to treat minimal patching without strategic replatforming as a governance shortfall, not a mitigation. Greyhound Fieldnote. Per a recent Greyhound Fieldnote from a public sector client operating under regional data directives, the organization subscribed to a long-tail patching program to delay a complete OS migration. Months later, a breach investigation revealed that the compromised system, though technically patched, lacked audit-grade telemetry and supported only basic authentication protocols. The incident triggered regulatory scrutiny and forced an unscheduled endpoint refresh. The case underscores a key enterprise lesson. Security without stack modernization is often compliance theater. Free ESU's cloud backup clause tests enterprise data governance maturity. Greyhound Flashpoint. Microsoft's decision to tie free ESU access to enabling cloud backup via OneDrive or Windows 365 reframes the offer. It's not free support, but a data policy test. Per Greyhound CIO Pulse 2025, 44% of compliance officers flag concerns over automated cloud backup in regions with restrictive data residency laws. For regulated enterprises, especially in healthcare and public infrastructure, defaulting to cloud sync, even for backup, may violate internal or legal mandates. Microsoft is not just offering patches, it's offering them in exchange for cloud footprint expansion. Greyhound standpoint. According to Greyhound Research, the cloud backup condition attached to Microsoft's ESU offer raises red flags for CIOs managing complex data residency, classification, and encryption frameworks. Many enterprise policies disallow external backups that bypass DLP workflows or customer-defined retention schedules. While the ESU Plus Cloud path may suit consumers and SMBs, it introduces operational tension in enterprise settings, where cloud backup must be reviewed by security, compliance, and legal teams. What's framed as a support benefit may, in reality, function as an enterprise policy risk. Greyhound Pulse. Greyhound Sector Pulse 2025 shows that 57% of enterprises in the education, public sector, and legal industries require dual-tier governance review before any externalized backup strategy is implemented. Of these, 35% cite inability to enforce custom data erasure, location fencing, or audit trail integration as deal breakers. Bundled cloud conditions often bypass procurement's due diligence process, leading to support dependencies that are neither scalable nor reversible under policy. Greyhound Fieldnote. Per a recent Greyhound Fieldnote from a national academic network, an internal security committee declined a vendor's offer of free patch continuity when they learned it required activating default cloud sync. The team's legal advisors flagged inconsistencies with local jurisdictional mandates and privacy policies protecting student data. The institution instead opted to fund an in-house patching protocol with custom logging and air-gap vaulting. This reflects a wider shift. Enterprises are beginning to value sovereignty over simplicity, even when it comes at a premium. Analyst in focus, Sanchit Gogia. Sanchit Gogia, or SVG as he is popularly known, is a globally recognized technology analyst, innovation strategist, digital consultant, and board advisor. SVG is the chief analyst, founder and CEO of Greyhound Research, a global, award-winning technology research, advisory, consulting, and education firm. Greyhound Research works closely with global organizations, their CXOs, and the board of directors on technology and digital transformation decisions. SVG is also the founder and CEO of the House of Greyhound, an eclectic venture focusing on interdisciplinary innovation. Copyright policy. All content contained on the Greyhound Research website is protected by copyright law and may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, displayed, published, or broadcast without the prior written permission of Greyhound Research or, in the case of third-party materials, the prior written consent of the copyright owner of that content. You may not alter, delete, obscure, or conceal any trademark, copyright, or other notice appearing in any Greyhound Research content. We request our readers not to copy Greyhound Research content and not republish or redistribute them, in whole or partially, via emails or republishing them in any media, including websites, newsletters, or intranets. We understand that you may want to share this content with others, so we've added tools under each content piece that allow you to share the content. If you have any questions, please get in touch with our community relations team at connect@thoffer.com.